All right, it's been a while. Welcome back. So, as we're going into the new year of 2022, I wanted to make a video to kind of be realistic about what to expect. This is a time in the year where we all set our New Year's resolutions and we say we're going to do a ton of things differently. And I don't necessarily have New Year's resolutions. I have things that I have been working on and trying to change. And, possibly the new year may give me a boost to do those things, and probably not. But when we're setting goals, I think it's important to make them realistic. And so my sister always told me to set SMART goals, and it is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And when we look at those things and we analyze what we want out of our life and what we want to do, and we put our goals into these specific categories of, timely and realistic and measurable, then it allows us to produce better results versus saying, I'm going to be buff 2022, and then you're not saying like, okay, let's set a specific goal saying I'm going to work out 2 times a week or whatever, and then measurable for XYZ amount of time, and then attainable at this gym. Realistic, probably don't start off with 5 times a week if you haven't hit the gym in years. And then timely, see where you're at, mark where you're at in 2, 3, 4 months, and make sure that you're keeping up with these things. And so I think it's very important to do that, because we live in a world where we are like, oh, affirmations and this and that. I'm going to be great. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that, which is good. But it's like, if you don't necessarily put in the work and make things realistic and attainable, then it possibly and potentially might not happen. It might just be on the vision board forever. And speaking of vision board, I do have something that I do want to share going into the new year. I did get published on the front page of Czar's magazine, and it's a cool magazine out here in Texas, but I did take a screenshot. I ordered my own copy, but here it is. And I will go ahead and let me turn my brightness down and show you guys. Here it is. This is the magazine cover. And then I got a couple pages in the magazine as well with some cool pictures. So I'm excited because that was on my vision board for 2022. And I didn't necessarily finish my vision board for 2022, but I did start it. Let me show you guys. Okay, let me show you. One of the vision boards that I started was for 2022, which was right here, was get published. And then right here was finish my bachelor's. Let me show y'all. So this vision board, which I made at my friend's house and my sewing machine. So this vision board this is my favorite quote. You don't need to feel good to get going. You need to get going to give yourself a shot at feeling good. And then I put a whole bunch of things that are important to me. Relationships, mental health. I love cooking. I want to grow my hair. I like saving money and doing all of those things that are realistic to just be a functioning human in society. I mean, I don't think you need to grow your hair to be a functioning human in society. So yeah, that vision board wasn't necessarily goals, but it was more so of like reminders of things that are important to me and things that we need to make sure that we keep doing. Also on another note, I do want to do a whole other podcast about depression and the types of depression and the way that humans are when we enter certain types of depression, and how we can't necessarily trust ourselves. Because like that quote said, you don't need to feel good to get going. You need to get going to give yourself a shot at feeling good. And I believe a lot of the times when we get into a depression or a heavy sadness, or when we just feel down, we are waiting for that feeling to shake and waiting for it to shake so we can get started and we can live our lives and we can do things. But that's not necessarily the way to go about it. Sometimes we need to just go ahead and do the things that we don't want to do, to get up, to get going, to show up and be on time, so that we're able to give ourselves a shot at alleviating that depression or alleviating that heaviness on ourselves. I think that it's very important to especially lay out the things that can possibly be causing you stress. And whether you're talking to yourself or you're talking to a friend, be specific, be precise, and talk to somebody who is a good listener. Because in order to be on the receiving end of somebody who is dealing with sadness or depression, I feel like being an active listener and allowing that person to explain their feelings and go down empty hallways of nonsensical stuff and to just gather their thoughts and put it out there for the first time, I feel like we have to be receptive. And it's always good to give people, to give people constructive criticism when it is needed. But I think a lot of the times we need to be able to listen. And even if we don't understand, I think active listening is one of the best things that you can do for somebody on the receiving end, when you're on the receiving end of somebody being sad or down or depressed. And I also did a video on learning to understand yourself, and it talks about what do we do in the times where we say, oh, I need to take time out for myself, I need to be alone, I need to isolate and do these things and develop a better me. But it's like, what do we do in that alone time? Do we confront our thoughts and emotions? Do we examine them? Do we come up with solutions? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely solutions to be able to work through effectively our issues. A lot of the time, I think that we have this faux idea of self-help. And I was going to say, y'all know how I feel about self-help because I did a video about that too. But for those of you who don't know, I feel like a lot of today's self-help is a scam, and it makes you a little more self-centered rather than constructively improving yourself. It just makes you kind of sulk and self-centered in today's self-help. And so no one, like, for example, it'd be like, no one understands me, I'm alone, I give, and people just take, I just need time alone because the world is so draining and yada, yada, yada. It's more of like a moping and a complaining rather than, yeah, the world is difficult, but let me find out a way to navigate it. How can I be better? How can I be a better person to be able to navigate my way through society successfully? It doesn't really look like that nowadays. And that's a whole nother video that I did a couple videos ago that you can check out. But it would be nice to be able to have a conversation about it. I need to start inviting people on my channel and just talking, because conversation is best when there's multiple people involved. And it's nice to be able to come on here and like talk and share my ideas and stuff, but sometimes I forget certain things I want to say. And I do like being challenged and people presenting new ideas to me. Obviously I know very, very minimal in my few years of living, but I do try to be open-minded and I do love different perspectives. So I wanted to end this video off with something that I read from Jordan Peterson. And as we go into the new year, let's be mindful and realistic and work on ourselves in a way that makes us a better human being in society. And I'm going to read this and then I'll stop my blabbering, and I'll see you guys in 2022, possibly. But he says, what do you do if you're afraid and to some degree anxious? You lay out what you're anxious about in detail. Ask yourself, what is it that I'm afraid of that might happen? Next, you deconstruct it into smaller increments, into hypothetically manageable problems, and then you expose yourself gradually to the thing that you're afraid of. The effect of this is not that you become less afraid. What happens instead, you become braver. And that's not the same thing. It's not like, well, the world isn't as dangerous as I thought it was, silly me. What happens realistically is, yeah, the darn world's just as dangerous as I thought. Or maybe it's even more dangerous than I thought. It turns out that there's something in me that responds to taking that on as a voluntary challenge and grows and thrives as a consequence. To decide to move forward courageously into the land of the unknown. That's one of the secrets to a good life. And let's do that for ourselves. Let's not allow fear and depression and anxiety to consume us. Let's lay out our issues. I keep saying this word, but be realistic about it. You know, we all have a reason to be a victim in this horrid life. Life is not fair. Life is full of unexpectancy. There is so much that goes wrong in life. And, you know, yeah, you may be strong in one portion of your life and you may be weak in another. And it may, in life very well, will fluctuate between good and bad emotions. But the thing is, you know, to understand that we have a choice every day on what we do to make our suffering a little lighter, you know, to log in, to show up, to submit things on time, and to go to your neighbor's house and talk even when you want to isolate yourself and be alone, to go out and be social and do these things. We have a choice to either live or to just exist. And just existing really doesn't make anything any better, any lighter. So anyways, go ahead and comment down below and, you know, let me know some of your New Year's resolutions. I know it's kind of distasteful for some people, like, oh, you shouldn't start in the new year, you need to just start right away. Yeah, whatever. Allow people to just, if there's a certain time in life where you feel like I'm designating this day to reconstruct myself, then so be it. I've been trying to do a couple things. My voice. I've been trying to do a couple things for a couple months now, changing stuff. And you know what I'm saying? For example, waking up at 5 a.m. I really want to do that. I really want to get there. I really do. And there was a time in my life where I did. And for some reason, I just can't get there anymore. So maybe my resolution this year, I'll say one, and then y'all let me know what y'all's resolution is down below. My resolution this year is that I wake up at 5 a.m. every day because I want to live. I want to do the things I used to do in the morning. I used to get my little tea in the morning and the world would be silent. It feels so good. You know, it feels so good when no one else is awake and you're just sipping your tea and reading your book and enjoying just the 5 a.m. vibes. But it's just getting there. That's the hard part. But anyway, let me know. And I will see you guys in 2022. Peace.